Hi again then guys, and so we've got another GranTurismo 6 top speed tune for you today, and this time it's the Honda Prelude SiR S-Spec. This is the highest PP version of this particular Prelude. So you want the racing soft tyres, of course. As far as suspension, we've lowered the ride height to 100 front and rear. Springs we've got on 750 and 550. Dampers to 4, anti-roll to 5, camber on 2. You don't really need camber as a track car, but the camber does help to prevent high-speed weaving on Route X. Neutral toe as usual. For the gearbox, you want an auto setting of 224. Then I haven't adjusted any of the individual gears, and we've gone for a final drive of 4. So a pretty simple gearbox setup for this one. For the diff, all three are halfway for torque, acceleration and braking. All the power upgrades, of course, and although I haven't fitted it, I would of course recommend having NOS, and obviously you want the full weight loss package. Traction control is turned off as always. So for its power, this car's actually pretty quick. I mean, most of the VTECs have pretty good top speed. Acceleration off the line, generally not so much because of wheel spin. But for top speed and for mid-range acceleration as well, actually, they're pretty good. Even the lesser powered models like the Civic have pretty decent top-end performance for their power. And this car's no exception. The cruising speed on this one is around 217, 218, which for around 400 and whatever horsepower car it is, that's pretty decent performance, especially for a front-wheel drive car of that power. Because if you think about it, there are, say, hot hatches, etc., that have front-wheel drive with more power than this that aren't that much quicker, if any quicker. So the performance on this car is actually very good for its power and for its class. The Prelude is, from what I understand, a really popular model. Never really been a huge fan of it myself, but I can see why people would like it. It's a pretty good looking car. As far as performance, it would be nice if it did have, say, a turbo, or not a turbo, a bigger turbo, to really help give you more potential, really, or unlock more of that potential that the car definitely has. Say, even 500 or maybe even 600 horsepower would make this car a beast, really, because based on how fast it already can go with a pretty modest amount of power, having, say, 500 or 600 could really make it possibly the best front-wheel drive car in the game if it had that kind of power. As far as draft potential, you haven't really got that much. This is pretty much just a top speed tune for the car on its own. So if you do need more draft potential from this car, obviously just set the final drive a bit lower, say 0.300 or 0.400 lower, and that will give you tons more draft potential. As it is at the moment, you probably top out at around 225, 230 at best. So if you plan on using it for top speed racing rather than just the speed on its own, then you will want to extend the final drive a little bit more than I have. But as I said, this is pretty much just a top speed tune for the car without draft. So obviously extending it will affect your cruising speed, but it will give you a lot more draft potential. So really it's all about what you need the car for. But overall, like I said, it's a very good car for its power and for the price. So if you haven't checked out the Prelude before, I would actually recommend it because it's a pretty decent car. It makes a good track car as well. And it's pretty fun to drive, which I don't usually say about front-wheel drive cars. So if you found this helpful, or you're just new to the channel in general, feel free to subscribe. I put out new top speed tunes like this every day and various other tunes through the week. And as always, thanks for watching.